Welcome to the Life Be podcast. In every episode, we dive into the most relatable aspects of life, helping you navigate the complexities of our contemporary world. Let's get started.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's wonderful to be here today. It's a new day, and we thank God that we're live. And it's a great opportunity to be on your screens, your tablets, your phones, and in your living room as you take your coffee, your dinner, your lunch, your breakfast, whatever it is. Just remember that life is worth living, and life is interesting, life is challenging, but life is a blessing. And that Life Be is where we sit and talk about the hard conversations, the hard topics, the uncomfortable things, the truths, and the hot topics. Hot being honest, open, and transparent. And tonight I am very excited to have somebody wonderful called Jackiline. Let me tell you a bit about Jackiline. Jackiline is a very beautiful lady, number one. But I'll read her profile. She's a psychologist with a passion for spreading awareness about mental health. Her platform, Harmony of Minds, combines her two loves and aims to break the stigma surrounding mental health through music and personal experiences. As someone who has battled depression after experiencing domestic abuse, this cause hits close to home for Kobusinge. She believes that by joining hands together through music, we can make a real difference in breaking the silence. Tonight, we're breaking the silence, and we're talking about a very touchy topic, but it's worth it. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Jackline Kobusinge.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good to finally meet you. You're a very good ardent follower of the Life Be podcast. You comment in there and you watch every week, and you've been very encouraging. And I've been following your social media. We first came in contact through a friend of mine, Ian, who gave me your number. She's like, these people are working on something. You should, get in touch, expect a call. And that's how we got to know each other at that. Tell us a bit about yourself.
In general, I'm a singer, songwriter, recording artist, and I'm very passionate about mental health because I've really struggled with mental health, and my what I'm all about is all about making sure that there is more awareness about mental health, there is more awareness about healing, probably resources, and I do that through my platform called Harmony of Minds, where we provide information, where we provide maybe hotlines, maybe, things of that kind. And that's what I'm all about. Maybe the second born to 8 kids. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay. And what do you do specifically?
Currently, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, and a recording artist, and also a community psychologist.
Wow, community psychologist.
Yes.
I know 3 people who have done community psychology.
Okay.
One of them was a genius. The late Mose Radio was a community psychologist, and that guy was very intelligent. I would sit with him and we'd talk about the most stupid things, and his approach would blow my mind, because I used to look at those things as very simple things, but he would use those things as illustrations to get me to see very profound things and perspectives. So, community psychology. What does community psychology deal with?
Community psychology is basically about helping people understand the world, people understand themselves, because the world is a complex context. So when we talk about community psychology, most people are like, you're reading my mind. It's not basically about reading. We are not psychics. We love to ease people's pain, ease people's suffering, make people understand the world that they're in. Why is someone behaving like this? Why is someone so jumpy? Why is someone so quiet? Why is someone reserved? Why is someone hyper? So there's always a reason as to why someone has a specific personality. And so community psychology, or psychology in general, is to bring plain to how people interact and make the world explain what their world is all about.
Okay.
Yes.
So explain to us what your world is all about.
My world. I'm also trying to understand it myself, obviously through psychology. As someone that has been, by the way, I grew up a very happy child. Like most people think, oh, I'm sad and everything. I'm not sad. I grew up a very happy child. I was loved by my parents. We grew up 8 children. Like there was so much love growing up as a child. But then along the way, you just meet some people that can change your life, and you're like, okay, I don't know where am I? Like it's like as if you splintered into some space, and you're like, where can I go back into this person that I was before? But I'm also as a person, as we experience people, as we experience life, we get to find challenges. And for me, as I say, as a person, I'm trying to also understand things that can happen to people, but also in my own personal experience, I'm also trying to understand what is happening to me currently, because because like when you're in dealing with domestic violence, there is a lot of like isolation. So like your reality is not even your reality. Your reality is something that someone wants you to perceive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to, you grew up in a happy family of 8.
Yeah.
And somewhere something changed. You said you aren't always sad.
Yeah.
So what's that something? Let's go back into the details of that something that changed. How old were you? What was the something? How did that something change? And then how did that affect your life and perspective on life? And we can take it. Yeah.
So the something, it has to do with the relationship. So like I met this person, and they were nice in the beginning.
They're always nice. Yeah. They're always nice.
Yeah. And then like before you know it, like that's what I'm doing. Like I'm trying to figure out, like before you know it, you're like, what the hell happened to me? Like you're losing your mind, you're losing your self-worth. But the something was a relationship that lasted for 3 years, and a marriage that lasted for 7 years. And yeah, that was something.
Wait. A relationship that lasted 3 years.
Yes.
And a marriage that lasted 7 years.
7 years.
Are these 2 different events?
Or
it's the same person?
It's the same person.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do you separate them? I'm very careful to ask the details, because you're a psychologist and you compartmentalize things deliberately. Not you just went over them. So for you to say, this is my understanding, for you to say 3 years and 7, that to me says something happened in the 3 years, and that was a different event, and then something else happened in the 7 years. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. For the 3 years, it was as at university, dating this person, and I don't know, not even dating per se, like literally surviving with this person,
Wait. When you say surviving, were you guys so broke that you were cast out in some place, some island somewhere? What do you mean surviving?
When I say surviving, it's like emotionally, because I don't know, like, have you ever broken up with someone and you just can't break up with the person?
Yeah.
Because like you have, and I'm glad that you've experienced
attachment
that
disorders
before, whereby it's not that you're even attached to this person, but this is a person whereby you break up with them, and then they stalk you. They follow you around. They're like all up they're in your hostel, in your lecture room. Before
so you can't get rid of them.
You just cannot get rid of someone. And so it took that long, but because someone was like, but didn't you see the red flags? Yes, I saw the red flags, but this was someone that you cannot leave. And he was like my first boyfriend, number 1.
Aww.
So I was so naive. Like
is
yeah,
campus
the word
which
naive.
year?
First year.
Oh my gosh. That's hard.
First year.
Like you've just gotten into a level of life which is university. You're excited, you're young, you're starting a new life, and then you meet this guy, first boyfriend,
Yeah.
new experience,
Yeah.
very exciting. You're
Yeah.
very naive at the time.
Church girl.
That can be very
Yeah.
crazy.
It was crazy, because like I obviously knew what I, because when I was at school I was like, I want to date when I'm at campus, then probably date like for this time, and my first boyfriend with one that I get married to, like I had my life all figured out, you understand, in my head.
Yeah.
But then I think like, you know, like how the devil brings a counterfeit,
Yes.
as opposed to what God brings for. I think like the devil planted this counterfeit before me, and it looked like as if, oh God, things are planning. Like I was not even saying, oh, bad things are planning. I'm like,
It was
things
just
were just
rolling
flowing.
out,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were just flowing. And then like this person turned out to be something different, and like me, I to tell you the truth, like my universe is not something that I even remember so much, because I was constantly stressed. I was constantly depressed. I was constantly sad. Like, it's not something that I enjoyed. I cannot say, like, people, oh, uni. I'm not a uni. Like, when I say uni, I'm looking at someone punching next to my face. I'm looking at someone who I break up and they hysterically pull my leg, trying, don't leave me. Like, you're crying like a baby. And, like, for me, it put me in this place, like this was weird. This is weird, you know, and... I don't know, but it was tough. That's what I can say.
So this guy lived on campus,
No, he was already done with campus.
but you lived on campus.
Yeah.
So he would show up whenever he wanted to.
Yeah. But how I was like in a hostel,
Okay.
like that was close by. So he knew my hostel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he would just show up and demand
Just
to
show
see
up
you.
at 2 a.m. Like you're literally sleeping and someone just knocks the door at 2 a.m., at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning.
And this started happening after how long in the relationship?
Like I think like after the second, because we were there in August, then around September, that's when things began. Like
Even
they happened
remember
so
the
soon.
months. That was traumatic. August, June,
Yeah.
July, August, September. So the next month, 4 weeks of bliss. This is wonderful. I have a boyfriend, and then the
Yeah.
drama starts after 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then did you just say, you know what, I can't take this, I'm done?
Yeah, so obviously after 4 weeks, and then you're like, you know, we cannot do this, you know, I
Yeah.
need to move on with my life, I need to study and everything, because like I used to take my education so seriously, I still do. And then the first time that I broke up with him, it was a phone call. And then he was like, is it because I'm ugly? Is it because I'm hard? Is it, you know? So
Projecting.
being this church girl that I was, I didn't want someone to think that I'm breaking up with them because they are ugly. Like, it's not that. It's and even me, because I did not even know why I wanted to break up with this person. All I
But
knew
you
they
were
were
just
bad for me.
uncomfortable, yeah.
All I knew they were bad for me. They were a bad influence to me. So I was like, no, it has nothing to do with that. And later on, I got to realize that was deflecting from actually the thing that was happening.
Okay.
So when is it because I'm ugly? Is it because Simanya, because I was taller than him? Is it because I'm short? All the insecurities that he had, he was selling them to me, and I was also seeing them. Right? You
Yeah.
understand?
So I was saying he was projecting.
Yeah, so he was kind of like projecting. So I was like, no, it's not because of that. And you know, like naive, like you Bambi care about people. I used to yeah, so like it used to go on like that. So that was like the first time. As then the second time, like it was in person. Like it was in person. He had actually come to my hostel, and I'm like, you know what, I cannot. Like I am done. I cannot. Like I can't. And then I remember he was like angry, and then he was like, don't you know I love you? No one will ever love me like I do. And then he pushed me on the wall, and then he punched next to my head. I froze.
Wow.
Like I said, what's happening to me? Like I froze. I could not understand what happened. I was scared. Like I was so scared. And then in that moment, he was threatening, I'm going to throw myself, because I was like on the last floor of our hostel. I'm going to throw myself. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to, like, all these things. Like I was like, what's happening? Like I was in so much disbelief. I was in so much shock.
Which hostel is this?
The hostel is called MMK.
Oh,
It's
I don't
just
think
like,
I know MMK. I was
yeah.
just trying to see if I knew it so I can see how tall it was.
It was tall. It was, I think 5 floors or 6 floors.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was like, I want to kill myself. I want to kill myself. And I was like, okay, it's okay, don't kill yourself, So I remained in the relationship because I didn't want someone to kill myself. And by that time, I got a little confused.
Hey,
The
you
stories.
were scared to be on the news. I must say.
I know. Yeah, but then you understand? So I was like, so I stayed not because I wanted to, but because someone was trying to commit suicide. They were trying to analyze.
Oh, so you thought you were helping them stabilize and not
Yeah, so it was
destroy their lives.
Yeah, because of that fear of I'm going to kill myself, because of that punch, that fear. Like, I was in shock.
So you became his savior.
It's not because, not savior per se, but I was. That's why I said that it was survival.
Yeah.
Like, I was just there.
Just to keep the guy alive.
Just to keep that guy alive.
Wow, that must have been painful. So you keep this guy alive first year. You keep him alive second year. You keep him very alive third year.
And meanwhile, in all those years, I'm breaking up with him. Like, every month, literally, I'm trying to, and it's failing.
Wow. So it was... He mastered his game that he knew you're going to break up with me, then I'll make you feel guilty, then you'll come back, so you're literally going nowhere.
He used a lot of guilt with me. Yeah. Like, that guilt was, when I got to realize that after some time, I was like, get another game, man. Like, play something else. No, that does not work on me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once I got to know that's the power he had, I was like, oh my goodness, I should have woken up 10 years ago.
Yeah. So you're in that, and what are your friends thinking?
So now I had a friend of mine. I was going to mention her name, but I'm not going to.
It's all right. Yeah.
So I had a friend of mine who was like, Jackie, Benange, this person, what are you? He's out of your league. You know what your friends can be telling you. And then he hated that friend of mine. So he was like, that friend, Simanya, that friend of yours, because he's so much of like my religious, because as a church girl, so he tried to make all my friends, every defensive mechanism, every social mechanism that I had,
he demonized all your
enemy.
friends.
He demonized all my friends. And so he put me in this isolation whereby he was the only person that I could reach out to. The extent, I remember one time we were having like a discussion, like class discussions, coursework. And then he called me. And then I was like, hey, how are you? Then people were laughing in the background. Obviously, there are guys around. And then he was like, hey, you're with your boyfriends at the university. So because of that guilt, like, I didn't want to offend people. I don't want to be known as someone who's sleeping around or what.
Yes.
So I was like, no, and things like that. So I even stopped socializing because I did not want him to accuse me. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's how naive I was, man.
Wow.
So, like, that alone put me into a position whereby I was now dependent on his time, because it's a person who got my timetable. He knew everything that I was supposed to do.
He knew where you were at
He
what
knew where
time
I was,
and what
he
you
knew
were
at what
doing.
time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how he used to get that information, but he would just call you normally as if he's caring. Hey, how are you? So what are you going to do? Tell me. He would even first talk about his plans. So me, in the morning, I'm going to go there, then I go here, then go to this place, then how about you? And then also you're telling him your plans. Kumbe, he is trying to get traps whereby he can control, because sometimes you're like discussing and then he comes, you see him coming. Like unannounced, and then he's introducing himself to your friends. Like, it was so weird. It was so bizarre.
Oh my God.
So the thing is that he separated me from any social system. Like, my friends, my classmates. I only have like 2 friends at campus. I do not have really, like, I cannot say that I have really friends at campus, because like, this person really messed me up. Like, he really messed me up. That's all I can say. Yeah.
So how do you then go from that into getting married to him?
By the time it was the issue of marriage, I had given up on wanting to break up with him. So I was like, you know what, this is... Because first and foremost, he kind of like convinces you. He can be like, Jackie, I know you think that you don't like me, but you do. I know it. I can see it in your eyes.
Manipulation.
So there's a way you start to believe. You're like, maybe I like him, like he's saying, but maybe I don't know, maybe I like him. Or sometimes can be like, you're just so young. You need, when you grow, Simanya, my mom told me when women get old, they start loving their men in when they get married.
What?
So like there's just a certain way that you believe. Like that's the naive, the being naive that I talked about.
Such a manipulator.
Very good.
His mom told him, when you grow older, you start loving the man that you didn't love.
That you didn't love.
So now you're growing older to start loving him. How does even that make sense?
It doesn't.
Okay, so you're totally manipulated at this point. You don't even know how you feel.
Yeah.
You're trying to make sure he doesn't bother you. You're making him comfortable so he doesn't have to bother you and disrupt your life. And then you get married to him.
Yeah, so the marriage bit, so we're almost finishing. And I was like so excited. I'm like, I'm going to finish. So I was talking about like I want to study like abroad, something. I finished, do maybe masters in some other country. Like it was just easy say. Like it wasn't like even I was so serious about it. So and this he confessed later on.
Yeah.
Then he got me pregnant. Like when I was just about to finish. And because of the and because of like the church thing, so the person that gets you pregnant, you have to get married. That shame,
Trust me, I know that whole story,
Yeah, so I was like, I have to get married to this person. Trust me, during the whole preparation of the wedding, like my sisters could not understand. My sister actually asked me, like, Jackie, are you sure you want to get married to this person? Like she asked me and I told her, yeah. But because I was also ashamed, like the shame, like in myself, I knew exactly how I felt about this person.
Yeah, but you didn't want to be that girl that got pregnant and just ran.
And just ran away. And then I'm just like, so I was already ashamed. I was like, Banange, I've gotten married out of wedlock.
You gotten pregnant out of wedlock.
Sorry, I've gotten pregnant out of wedlock. What am I going to do? So that to cover that shame, I was like, let me get married to this person.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. That's how the marriage came about. Wow. That's how the marriage. And he confessed to me. At first, I didn't even. He confessed to me that it was intentional because he knew.
Definitely.
I was going to be away.
Because the timing alone shows you that this guy planned his thing right from when you started talking about, I'm going to go abroad, campus is done. Yeah. So he's like, I better get this girl pregnant so she doesn't go anywhere.
Better lock her down here.
Yikes. Like, that's the whole movie. Yeah. Okay, so you get pregnant. And how old were you at the time?
I got married at 23.
So you were at campus at 20. And for 3 years, the thought of it is just...
Yeah. Like
23, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
You married this.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but he's a maniac. That's all I can say. I'm trying to be nice. Okay. Then what happens?
Yeah, so I get married and in the marriage, like as if he was trying to change, was trying to like be a better person, be a better parent when we give birth. And but then for some reason things that happened like for 1 year. But the reason as to why it was that way is because I was constantly at home and just like doing absolutely nothing. Okay. So it was very easy. He goes, he comes back, he's sure of what he's going to find. Then I began talking about work. Now that's where things began to...
You're trying to break free from his prison.
Yeah. That's where the clothes came back again. And this time it was like 3 times harder. And like it was something that like I had never seen before now.
This time you've had the baby.
Yes.
Okay. All through the pregnancy he was so kind of trying to be okay.
Yeah, he was so good. During the pregnancy, like he was a good person. Obviously, like any other normal human being, I think he like annoying, trying to control and everything. But because I was heavily pregnant, so I was also okay, like sitting down, just relaxing. And that's the person I wanted. I wanted someone who I don't know, I think I can say an object, someone that he knew, I've left you here, so when I go back, I'm
I'll
going to find you
here.
here. Yeah. So that was his safe place, is knowing that he's going to find me there.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I started to talk about work, that's when things went south.
So this whole time your family doesn't know this about him.
Actually, he's good, because even my dad was like, he's good, because he fooled everybody. Because when I gave birth, because our marriage was, I was with him when I was pregnant, but then the wedding per se was after I had given birth.
Oh, okay.
So that's the story.
So he was good all through that time, and then your parents were convinced this guy is actually caring.
He's caring.
He's treating you well.
He's treating me well. Even on, when the day that I gave birth, at the season, because I think I was in the hospital for 2-3 days. In that time, like, he was all over the place, moving, carrying the baby.
The caring father.
So caring. Like, my aunt jazzed me. She was like, she like winked at me. She was like, "Omokochecho." You understand? Like, they felt so safe, knowing
that he was
the
responsible
person
and loving.
he looked so
caring.
responsible. Yeah. And they were telling me, and everyone was like telling me, "Hey, your husband." But I knew, like, I would not say anything because he was already portraying that. That's what they were saying. But me, I knew who he was.
Where did you find this guy?
Actually, he found he's a music trainer. He teaches dance and drama and everything. Yeah. So it was at school, when I was still in school. So he came, he taught us. Then they had like a troupe, like the mother.
Yeah.
So I wanted to join that troupe, and that's where he used to, somehow
how he had access to
divert
you.
me. Yeah. So that's how we met.
And when you were part of this troupe, this was at campus or before campus?
I did not even join that troupe. I did not even join that troupe because there's a way he just made sure I was not a part of it.
Oh, so he can keep you to himself.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was not even part of it.
Okay, so you do... Sorry, I am like... This is very overwhelming. So you give birth, do the wedding, and everything is okay at that point.
Yeah, during the wedding there were so many red flags because what people call a bridezilla, he was like a groomzilla. He, like someone you do not have money at that time. He's talking of limousines. He was talking of he wants to get like 2 what are those Hoima coaches? The Hoima coaches, first we call them Kalitas, the Hoima coaches, to go back in his village, get
the whole village,
people come to witness the wedding. Use troops for Maganda, specific troop for Maganda, specific troop for Kinyaranda, specific troop for...
And who was going to pay for this?
I know, he was the most unrealistic person that I've ever met in my life. Till today. The thing was so exaggerated. Like, I did not have the opportunity to dream on my wedding.
Till today, meaning he's still in your life.
Till today, meaning I have not met someone who has that kind of character.
Okay, I thought he was still very unrealistic. Till today, he's still in your life. I was going to be like, you're still very unrealistic. Okay.
It can happen. So, So during the wedding preparations, he was stressing everybody. He was outrageous on the things that he wanted, the things that he was demanding. I remember even his best man, because one time he told me that I'm not going to say that name, I was going to say that name. So his best man was like, he was saying, Smanya, I was this and this about the wedding. But in my mind, because I hated to really disagree with him, because when you disagree with him, he beats you or something. So like in my mind, I was like,
beats. Hold on. Beat. We came from punching walls and throwing you on the wall to now beating.
Beating, yeah. For the beating, it happened during now when we're now married. Like after that 1 year, which was okay, then there became like a certain year whereby we were really financially struggling, and every disagreement, like the smallest disagreement, you could just get punched just on your arm, in your face. like just anywhere. He could like hysterical, like put you maybe on a chair and then just starts pouncing punches on you.
With the child in the house.
It happened once when the children were around, because most of the time I was emotionally not available.
Yeah.
I was not as literally during my marriage. I was not there.
Children, you had more than one child with him?
No, I only had two. But
Okay.
in most cases, I used to take them to my mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they were young, so I used to take them to my mom to stay there. There were more people, and I didn't feel them safe being like with us or something. Yeah, so for the beating, it happened once when my children were there, and then they cried. Then the neighbors came, banange salongo mamurana, mukuranenga tewali bana. Yeah, and
Oh, they're twins.
yeah, they are twins.
Okay, because I was still trying to do the math in my head. That's
Yeah.
liberating. I was still trying to do the math in my head. I'm thinking, 3 years, you get married, he starts beating on you, and then you give him a second child. I was still trying to see. I was
Yeah.
like,
They were twins. They were twins.
oh, how sweet. And he lays hands on you in the house with the kids.
Yeah.
Wow. So the kids are screaming, everybody's screaming, and the neighbors are.
Actually, the day he beat me up when the kids were around, that day I like beat back, because I looked at my kids and I'm like, I do not, like, it was embarrassing. Your children seeing you being beaten up, and you're the one who say, you sweep, you understand, trying to be their mom. And then like I felt so belittled at that time, and I was like, no.
So you
I have
got
to show
very
these
angry.
girls that you have to fight back. And also me, that was the first time that I hit him.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't believe, I'm like, oh God, I'm fighting now. Like, and then it was from that point that I started also to fight for myself.
Yeah.
I think my kids, like when I saw my kids screaming, like I was like, no, they cannot see me being beaten up. At least let them think we're fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, that's what.
Yeah,
I think
that's what made
thinking
sense.
right now. I think
Yeah.
that's what I was doing, but it came so impromptu. Like I just did it. You understand? And then, the last time I think it was strangle, because also he could strangle, but then the last time that he strangled me, I remember telling him, "Kill me right now, and then we see where you shall bury the body." That's what I told him.
So
And then-
at this time, he had beaten you like how many times?
They weren't so often. They weren't so like so many, but he could maybe, like it's hard to count. Maybe like he could, maybe like in 6 months, like you kissed like twice.
Oh,
or
so there was
something.
intervals where you'd think maybe now he's okay, we're good now, it's not going to happen.
Like the
Because
good
I was going
days
to
were there.
I was going to ask you, how do you get bitten over and over and you don't seek help, you don't leave?
Yeah.
Like,
I tried to leave. Leaving was the hugest punishment you could get from this man. I remember one time I tried to leave when we were already married. I was like, let me even go, because he had beaten me. I was like, I'm tired of this. Like, why are you beating me and things of that kind? Because, you know, like if you grow up in a loving family, like my dad has never beaten me. My dad has only ever pinched me.
yes.
Like, I tell you the truth. I kid you not. He has only ever pinched me. And the reason that's why he pinched me is because I went without a shirt to the shop. And so when I came out, like, why are you going naked? That's the only time my dad has ever laid his hand on me. And so
Okay.
it was something that was so unfamiliar to me. And I fought so hard to make sure that I go back to that person that was never hit.
Okay.
Yes, so living alone was like a whole nother punishment. Who would like just go hysterical, he would like cry, he would like hit pillows, he would like throw things around. Then one time he called my brother, Ismail, your sister wants to leave. Then my brother had to come. My brother is younger than me, I wasn't even married.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, look at what he's showing my brother. So when my brother came, I was like, this is not how marriage should be.
Yeah.
This you're in this, but this is not the truth. This is not the reality. This mine is abnormal. My case is abnormal.
So at what point do you actually leave?
Actually, so we're married 7 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's at the 7-year mark. Like you've gone through all this and you're going year in, year out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 7th year, it was 2022 early, but for me, I counted 2021 because 2022 were not even in good times.
Yeah.
So 2021, it was in 2020 when I got to know about narcissism, and so like I was doing research, and that's why I started to fight back, like emotionally too, manipulatively, like started to get into those nitty-gritties of how he, tried to manipulate me. So in 2022, he called me once. Actually, I called him and I was like, what's wrong? Like the kids, why are you abandoning the kids? Because he seems to be a good father. Well, like when it came to the kids, he showed that he was in it for them. He was like, I'll die for my kids and things like that. So I was like what's going to happen to the kids? They have to start schooling, after COVID. So that phone call, I think to me was like it was like the epitome of feeling, like everything that I had not felt. I felt it during that phone call.
And this time during the phone call, you're at your parents' house?
I'm still married. Like, but he's not at home.
Oh, so he decided to leave you home.
Yeah, he left home.
But he wouldn't let you leave home.
Yeah.
So you had to still be in his little prison, but he was gone.
And even by then, like, this was my life. Like, I was now becoming okay with it. It had become normal now to me at that time. Yeah. So
you want to just raise your kids and
raise. You understand whereby let me sit down, Munange, raise my kids. Yeah. So I'm like calling him, like, what's happening with the kids? Why don't you want to come back home? I was even apologizing if there is anything that I've done. Please, I'm sorry. Because like when you talk to people, because it was in 2021, I said I talked to people, and then people were like, oh, maybe you did something wrong. So me, I believed, I was like, maybe I've done something wrong. Let me apologize to this person. Maybe I said something. So I apologized, and then he was like, I do not want to get married to you. My mom forced me.
OMG.
And then he was like, then I asked him, okay, now why? Okay, apart from, I know he told me I don't want to get married to you. My mom forced me. Then he was like, I do not want to be in the house because you buy plates and soap and lotion in the house.
How so petty?
Then he was like, every time I come at home, I want to kill you and the kids.
So he'd rather stay away.
So,
in this time, have you gone back to church? Are you thinking counseling? Are you... What's on the other side of your emotions, your family,
Yes, so it was that phone call that I started to engage my family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my aunt called me, and then I talked about it with her. She was like, "What? You mean you fight? Jackie, you fight?" I was like, "You have to survive, And then my aunt told the husband, my uncle, and then because my uncle was the one who worked on our kuchala and everything.
Yes.
So she was like, "Banango, you left you've the one who initiated how kuchala. They will kill this lady, Vichi will kill this girl." So then after that, my uncle told my dad. And then my dad obviously told my mom about it, and then they discussed, well, like, maybe he's having emotional things and everything. So actually we had a meeting with my family.
Okay. And
that meeting was about maybe they thought maybe he's struggling financially, so they need to help him out so that he can stabilize and then he gets emotionally okay. So for them, they're not even seeing the abuse, they were seeing the abandonment. It was the main issue at that time. When we had the meeting, my mom, my dad, my father, then the mom, and then his elder sister, and then him. And then when my dad asked him, like, what's happening, and then he was like, Jackie's big-headed, she's not submissive, she's like every wrong thing of everything that he has been accusing me of, because every time he's punching you, he's telling you, very big-headed woman. So then also it reached my turn. For me, I went back to university. I was like, this man stalked me. So I had to go back, and then the mom was like, no, don't talk about that. Vichi, let's move forward. I continue to talk about everything that happened.
That's the problem. I've counseled a few people.
Yeah.
Where I've even talked with their families, and their families are saying, interestingly, the parents keep saying, don't go to the past. Let's deal with now and move forward. But they never realize that the past is actually why we are here. And that's the problem we need to work through to see that we go forward. It's interesting that you say that, because that's a very big problem, that we don't want to listen to where did it go wrong? What were the red flags then? How can we fix those things back there to see that we can stabilize here and see how we move on? And that's very key. So so his parents say, let's work from here forward.
Let's work from here forward. But then, my dad was like, no, let's hear her out. And then, like, I was talking about everything that I was saying. So because I was talking about these things that he did to me that he refused to acknowledge by that time, then he stormed out. And then he just jumped out of his seat and then walked out of the meeting.
Okay.
And then my dad was like, you know what?
It's done.
We are removing our daughter from the marriage.
Yeah.
We are going to take her back home. When you guys settle and you work with your child, then we shall reconsider. Then I told him I'm giving him 1 year. I'm giving him 2022. After 2022, I don't want to know.
I applaud your dad. I applaud him, because that's a very firm decision that many people wouldn't take.
Yeah, true.
They would say, don't shame the family. Let's work on this secretly. You guys be more submissive. Listen to the man. Don't talk back at him. Be kind. Or people get beaten. And I hear these stories all the time, and I get so mad because we've gotten, especially in the church, unfortunately,
so much.
We get to a place where we have kind of allowed it. We tell the woman, no, he's beating you because you're insubordinate.
That's a problem.
Go and be subordinate. And I've had the elderly generation saying, Munange, that's how men are. You just have to keep quiet and give him sex, give him food, sleep. Things will be okay. And I'm wondering,
and they can never
why
be
don't
okay.
we ask how did the guy become this person? How can we help the guy? We always go, because I've talked to some people where they've said we went to our pastors who wedded us, and the pastors are saying, because the guy went there before her, they're saying, no, the woman is insubordinate. You're big-headed. We know you. We've raised you. You're very big-headed. You're insubordinate. It's your problem. And they're not asking the key questions. Where did it go wrong? How did you start to lay hands on her? Why are you laying hands on her? Why didn't you come? Because they end up believing the guy's story over the girl's story. And when the girl starts to speak up, then she's insubordinate. I have a friend who I won't say you know her. She had the same issues in her marriage. Her husband then was a very nice guy. And I think one of the pastors at their church was his best friend, or even the best man. I don't remember quite the story, but I knew the pastor, and I knew the girl. And the girl, every time she tried, because I told this girl, you guys need counseling. She said, by the time I came to you, I've been to church a bunch of times, and I am the bad person because he's friends with the pastor. And I said, and I wanted to intervene because I know the pastors. I mentored some of them when they were younger, and I'm thinking maybe I should go and talk to the pastors. But then I said, I can't get into this because then it will look like I'm taking sides. And then I'd be there and she would call me and she's like, I want to run. The guy got home and beat me while our son was watching. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And then the guy found out that she would call me a lot.
Yeah, and that was trouble.
Then the guy calls me. No, he goes on Facebook and finds me. So he messages me, hi, how are you? I hadn't noticed who he was. He talks nicely. I want to meet you. I want us to talk, counseling. I hear you're a good counselor. We need to talk. Then I'm thinking, who is this guy? I look through his profile and I'm like, wait, this name sounds very familiar. And I ask the lady, and the lady says, that's my husband. He's trying to trick you. So I don't respond. That night, he sends me a text. So I had Truecaller app on my phone.
Yeah.
So he sends me a message because it wasn't in my contacts, and Truecaller brings his name on the phone. But when he sends me a message, he uses somebody else's name. And this is like at midnight. He says, "Hi, how are you, Pastor? I really need to talk to you. I'm having issues with my wife. I need you to guide me. And my name is so and so and so and so." So I text the lady and I say, "Do you know this number?" And she says, "Yes, that's him." I'm like, oh, now he's even playing games. So she tells me he actually slapped me for telling you what was happening. I said, what? And then she said he's going to try and find you because he's threatened one of my male friends because I talked to him about what's going on and I need help.
And I don't like
He's
that.
actually called him on the phone and threatened him. I said, oh, please have him call me and threaten me. I am very ready. If he wants to meet me, we shall meet. If he wants to fight, we will have that conversation. And then she said, I can't do this anymore. She said, my neck is bruised. I can't go anywhere. And she said, I tried to run to the church and the church is blaming me.
That's true.
And then she said, I talked to his family and he's told them a totally different story. And I said, oh my gosh. And she said,
so
I am just, you're the only person I can talk to.
Yeah.
And she said he has literally alienated her from all her male friends.
Yeah.
And then he makes it look like she's promiscuous. To the pastors, to all the people and her family that she could run to.
Yeah.
So she's trapped in the home. But this guy comes home late. No accountability. He goes to all her friends and tells her how much she's promiscuous,
That's what they
how
do.
she's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And at his workplace, he's actually hitting on some of the girls. But he's the perfect husband at church.
At church, yeah.
And in his family, they know him as a wonderful guy. And I said, you need to leave. Because he was grabbing the neck. He choked her one night. She called me the next morning and she said, he almost killed me until my son walked into the room at 3 a.m. And I said, it's so sad that the church would still pay a blind eye. And they would say, do not divorce. Divorce is bad. Divorce is not of the Lord. But we don't look at the abuse. How do we handle abuse? I was actually told of a story. My wife was telling me in the States, she's American, that there's a lady who shared, she went to a church where she told them, my husband is abusing me every night. And they're like, well, you have to stay. You have to stay. This is your home. Respect your marriage covenant. And the guy killed the wife.
It happened.
The guy actually killed the wife. And this lady who was telling her was a counselor, and she said, I wish I came to her that night. I wish I told her to leave.
Like even the story of Osinachi, the Nigerian worshipper.
Oh, I've never heard the story.
Oh, I think you should listen. It was training around 2023.
Yeah.
She's a worshiper. She's even the way she sings, she's singing from deep pain.
Yes.
So the husband was continually abusing her and things of that kind until one time the man killed her. And that's when the Nigerian church woke up to that realization that actually women, it's not about women. Some women that want to leave, it's not about the divorce itself.
Yeah,
it's about the abuse.
They want to be safe. Yes.
He was a pastor. He killed his wife.
Wow.
She was a well-known worshipper.
That's terrible. And you know that the sad thing is we don't talk much about abuse.
We need a whole conference.
We don't talk much.
talk about
I was
this.
looking up and they were saying, let me just read something. They said in Uganda, statistics as of 2021, according to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, 95% of Ugandan women had experienced physical and or
It's a
sexual
big number.
violence.
That's a big number.
95%
That's a big number.
of women.
That's a big number.
So percentage is 100%.
But 95.
So 5% of women are who have not experienced this, meaning the whole country has experienced abuse. And it's sad that no one is talking about it.
No one.
Not even the church. For me, the pain is the
That's
church that
definitely-
should be your place
Safe
of
place?
refuge
Yeah.
is telling you, hang in there. Kiss his feet, basically, so that he stops beating you. But they don't know that the more subordinate you become and
The
accept
more
the
they
abuse,
step
the
all
worse
over
it
you.
gets.
Yeah. Like there is no, like how the American says,
Yeah.
never negotiate with the terrorists.
Yes.
Like when it comes to an abuser, there is no wrong way to not make them abuse you. There is no right way to not make them abuse you.
Yeah.
Like it's as if it's a spirit.
I think it's a spirit.
It's a spirit. Like
It's both. It's one, it's a spirit. Also, those people have a problem, a mental problem.
they have a mental problem.
They have bitterness, low self-esteem. There's so much going on with them.
Actually, for me, on the meeting that we had with my parents,
Yeah.
this man said, because he's a neuro,
Yeah.
so he was like, "Nyonine kihari." By the time you're saying, because there's a kiniga and there's a kihari. Kihari is deeper.
So what are those?
So kihari is like there's this anger that cannot be
Deep-seated
quenched. Like no one can quench my anger.
Yes.
And then he was trying to show my parents that for him, he has always had that. And even the mom was confirming, yes, since he was a young boy, he was always angry.
And nobody helped him deal with that. And that's okay.
They're glorifying it because they're trying to tell me I have to deal with his anger.
Yeah.
So there is that anger part, there's that bitterness part, and so much more going on. Yes. That's true.
But it's crazy, but if you have a space like that, like what do you think should be the place of the family according to you in this situation? Where do you think the family can come in and healthily help? Because from what I've seen with families, everyone is trying to save their name. They don't want to be the parents for the girl who leaves. They don't want to be the parents for the son who's abusing. So they'll excuse the son. They will force the girl.
I think we should. I think now. I think times have changed where people want to do things for others so that we can have a good name, so that they can see us as the good people. I think as family we should really learn how to love the people who are in our family, and don't think about the aesthetics. I don't think about which name are we holding, because that is what brings the problem. Because what will it benefit you for you to keep the name and then lose a child? What will it benefit you for you to keep the name and then your child has to go to prison because they killed someone? So I believe families should let go of wanting to keep a name as opposed to wanting to keep a family. Because a name and a family are two different things. Are you keeping your family? Are you keeping a name? Choose. Make a choice.
So you talk about this at its climax when
Yeah.
you talk to your families and all that. What could have kept you really in there?
Like you said, how because I tried. First and foremost, this person hated counseling,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I used to go for my own personal counseling. I wanted someone to tell me maybe what he's doing is wrong. You understand? But even in my own personal counseling to pastors, they were like, "Oh, that man loves you so much. You do not appreciate, because he's one person who has my passwords on my social media. He had my passwords on my phone.
I want
so
to
they
say
were
all the
saying it
crazy
as
things
love.
I could. They said So you go to the pastors
Yes.
for counseling
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm here to get help.
Yeah.
And all they could do was make you the
Feel like I was
problem.
not appreciating his love for me.
A person they didn't even know. So they didn't hear his story.
Yeah.
They hear your story and they take his side.
Yeah.
A person they don't know,
They don't
they've
know.
never seen, they've never lived with. You're the problem.
I was a problem.
You that is seeking help is the problem.
Yeah.
And you've opened up, you've given him all your social media passwords and everything.
He literally knew everything about me.
Yeah.
My social media, my phone password. Like, if you wanted to check any message, you just do.
Yeah.
He knew all of that. My mobile money pin.
Okay.
Like complete, like as just like a spreadsheet. He could literally see if an insect has fallen on the sheet.
And no, none of those people you went to for counseling ever suggested that you have him come have a meeting together.
Yeah, they did, but he did not want to. Like, he could just play around it, create business. I'm so busy, I'm not around.
Yeah.
Or sometimes he would blatantly say, I don't want to go for counseling.
And none of
So-
them cared to at least come at home.
No.
Because if they took that step, at least they would
And
find him
now
home.
coming at home was not even an option. How dare I bring a man? Stranger.
Oh, wow.
Even if it was a friend who was female. How
You don't
dare
bring
you?
strangers to his house.
Yeah. The only friends that used to come at our home were his friends.
So he was okay bringing strangers. He wasn't okay for you to bring strangers. Because
Even
he
if
a
it
man.
was my family, he used to complain about it. Like when they were around, he was, oh, so die, bring tea. The moment they go away, they're like, why are your family over? They're bothering us. Why are
is
they all
prison.
over you?
So did he? I don't even know.
You see that
It's also
confusion. I was
confusing.
constantly confused. Like in
You
20,
have to have been confused.
I'm just breathing right now. Like,
Because you go for help, where you go for help is like he's gone there, but he has not gone there. The
Yeah.
people are not saying, maybe let's try and find a
Investigate,
way.
yeah.
Let's find out what happened, Let's come at home and have a conversation, You're the problem. And it's the same thing they said, submit,
yeah.
give him sex, prepare
That's
his
it.
food, his bath water, and
That's
just say
it.
yes to everything.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
That's it.
How do you help a woman in that situation now with all the women? Even as we close, where time is fast spent.
Okay.
How do you help a woman in that space?
I think women, knowing, because for me, what helped me is knowing that what you're going through is not normal.
Yeah.
Accepting, like, this is freaking not normal. Like, it's not normal, But for me, I think what helped me, it was, I think, God. Because I got to get to see a video on Red Table Talk by the Will Smith. They called some doctors called Dr. Rahman, who talked about narcissism. And I'm like, oh, you mean this is not a normal thing? So I think women have to reach to that point where they know this is not normal. The moment you know this is not normal, it's easier for you to leave. But I've found so many women, you talk to them, there is no future here. But they still come back after a month, after 6 months, because they have not realized that this is not normal. They like, living is something that has to happen when you choose. You have to choose for once and for all to live.
But you see, church even makes that hard. I tell people, God hates divorce. God hates
is
abuse.
true.
God hates abuse because
Yeah.
you're abusing his children. But you cannot tell people to stay in abuse so they can keep an image
Yeah.
that looks like it's okay. Normally they say, this is from Bible college for me. There's the three, they call them the 3 A's that the Bible will allow, under which the Bible will allow divorce. And normally they apply after you've tried counseling and all have failed. And this is normally adultery, abandonment, and abuse. And they advise that you have a conflict like that, you have abuse, because abuse could be financial. It could be I'm withholding money from you,
Yeah.
and causing you to suffer. It could be emotional.
Yeah.
It could be physical. The worst, I believe, for me is emotional and physical. And they normally, the advice is, the approach with counseling in such situations is find a counselor that you trust, that will help you through that, so they can help you analyze the weight of the problem you have. If that doesn't work, get a separation, whatever, because then a separation takes you from the place of damage to a place, where you can think straight and make better choices that are not based on just emotions, where you can think, okay, I'm being abused. How can we, now that we have the space to think away from each other, are we willing to put things right? Are we willing to work through, get help, medical, mental, whatever? When we're apart, do we want to make this marriage work? And if that still doesn't work, then unfortunately, sadly, then you have to go to divorce, because there are things that won't be fixed unless somebody is willing to fix and work on them. And sadly, the church will say, stay in there. And if they go and get the guy, they'll say, what you're doing is not right. Please stop it. Yeah, it's not right, but have you thought about why? Have you looked into your past? Are there issues you need to address? Can we find somebody to help you with your mental health? You know, because some of these could be deep-seated issues.
Most abusers are not willing to go for counseling. Because for me, because I studied psychology, I kept on telling him, you have this problem. But then the last meeting, if someone can say to someone, I beat my wife in front of your father-in-law, I've always had anger issues, then meaning he has made it his personality. He's not willing to work on it. So there's also that whereby someone is not just willing, they're okay with
where they are. He's just an angry man. And the interesting thing is, I've had women who have been told, if the guy beats you, he's not beating you because of anything else. He's beating you because he loves you.
That's what also used to tell me.
And they have bought into that lie. Would you punch yourself because you love yourself?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. So if I am beating myself, I have a mental problem.
Yeah, you're not okay.
I don't love myself.
You're replacing another pain to some other pain.
So I'm bringing out my frustrations, my emotions on another person, maybe because they trigger me. And because they trigger me, I need to go and get professional help. First, to identify the triggers. What's it about Jackiline that triggers me? She could be not even the problem. She could be that she reminds you of something in your past. And you've not dealt with that, and you're taking it out on her. She doesn't even know she's triggering you. So those are things that people need to learn to work through. So we can help. We cannot support abusers by telling the women, stay there, the guy loves you. Just give him sex. How do you expect a woman to lay in bed and have sex with an abuser? That's like rape.
It's rape.
That's terrible.
It's terrible.
Well, we've said so much. Just in closing, just tell us about your foundation and how we find you. How are you able to help people in such situations of abuse? Now that you've experienced it and you've come out of it and you've overcome, what steps have you put in place to help people to, how can they find you? How can they access the help you can give?
Okay, so when it comes to mental health, because for me, when it comes to domestic violence, I also think about mental health.
Yes.
When it comes to mental health and domestic violence, you can reach out on our platforms, Harmony of Minds, and also my own personal account as an artist.
Yes.
Because the music that I sing is basically about how you can get resilience, how you can be resilient with the situations that you've been through, and not allow that to be who you are, and just maybe let it be something that is part of your story, but not who you are. And so Harmony of Mind, it's on Facebook and Instagram only. And then Kobusinge Jackiline on all platforms. You can reach out to me, just send me a DM. For Harmony of Minds, we have worked with so many people whom I have helped personally, and a few of my friends that I usually get in contact with. But also we give information of where you can get, for example, people who are suicidal. We give information of organizations that help with suicide prevention.
That's beautiful.
Yes. So, and also we give to some people information they can read, so that they can know what's happening with the world around them.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming
welcome.
to
Thank
this
you
podcast. Dear viewers and listeners, we're at the end of this episode. It could go on all day. These are some of the things I'm very passionate about. But thank you for tuning in. We're on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, we're on Spotify Pods, we're on everywhere else you find your podcasts. Please tune in, share, support us financially so we can keep bringing you this content. I'd like to thank the wonderful team, Director Israel Dennis, who's behind the cameras and the editing, Jonas Rhymes with Beyond Creative, who helps design our beautiful posters, Gianna Greer Chigundo on the other side, who helps with finding out what we need to do and dotting the I's and crossing the T. Love you, Gianna. Love you guys. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your support and prayers. Write us and let us know what you think in the comments section. Email us at lifeb@gmail.com so we can keep the conversations going. And we love you. God bless you. Life be.
Thank you for tuning in to the Life Be podcast with Sami-K. Your support means the world to us. Please leave a comment, subscribe, and share to help us grow and continue bringing you valuable content. We appreciate you.